Today we're talking about the SSSniperwolf situation coming to a head, Apple parting ways with host Jon Stewart, a teacher turned OF model regretting nothing, and more, all in today's episode of The Insight Hour. Happy weekend, geeks and freaks. Hope you have something good planned for today. I think I'm running out of horror events to go to for now, and it's sort of bumming me out, but my wallet's probably grateful, so. Anyways, before we get to it, we got a quick update on the speaker vote. Well, it looks like everyone again has failed to secure enough votes for the position. Notably, Republicans seem to be dropping Jen Jordan as their nominee, most likely for not wanting to reward the reported harassments they were enduring. There were reports of Sean Hannity calling around threatening to blast politicians on his show, and even one representative's wife was contacted by a stranger, so good for them for not rewarding the brats in the room. Anyways, Alice, what you got for me?
After a massive pressure campaign and accusations of favoritism, the SSSniperwolf Saga comes to a head after a week of scrutiny from the community at large.
So after WolfBay posted Jack's address, one would assume YouTube would bring down the banhammer, but over the week all we got were crickets. YouTube's lack of response got people mad, accusing them of shady favoritism. And yeah, it's hard for me to argue otherwise. They seem pretty chill letting their top moneymaker break rules without real consequences. I guess the rules don't matter when you've got 30 million subs. To top it off, before we heard anything about the situation, YouTube tweeted about reaction vids to reaction vids, sort of showing what team they were on, making it kind of worse for themselves. Jack's films demanded they boot Sniperwolf from the platform, or at least the partner program. But to be honest, I'm cynical anything will actually happen. So YouTube has shown time after time that they don't enforce the rules evenly. Big name creators always seem to get special treatment and immunity. Remember when Logan Paul filmed a dead body? I mean, the Paul brothers in general have always gotten away with murder. And now it looks like Sniperwolf will be part of the VIP club too. I think the only way we'll actually see action if public pressure keeps getting louder, or if there's like a legal verdict or something handed down. I mean, this should be about the integrity of the platform. YouTube's got to show that they care about the creator and responsible enforcement, not just pleasing the top creators making the money. But let's be honest, all platforms need more transparency in decisions and enforcement. Keeping things opaque and arbitrary helps nobody. Greater community input could provide oversight. Advisory boards with creators may help develop fair standards. But, and at risk of sounding like a broken clock, standards gotta be applied consistently to everyone. VIP immunity sends the wrong message. All users, big and small, famous or not, have to follow the same rules. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Curious to hear what you guys think. Update. So YouTube has tweeted and Sniperwolf has temporarily been removed from the partner program. So, yeah, real strong move there. Who could have seen that coming?
Apple has decided to cancel Jon Stewart's show. The problem. The cancellation reportedly stems from creative differences between Stewart and Apple, particularly concerning the show's coverage of artificial intelligence and China.
Alright, so Jon Stewart, the guy who's been schooling politicians and media pundits for years, got a show axed by Apple. Why? Because he wanted to talk about AI in China. You know, the topics that actually matter. So here's the deal. Stewart's show was supposed to return for a third season, but Apple decided they can't have him talking about AI in China. Quote, "It's not aligned with our values." Aligned with their values? What does that even mean? Like, are we talking about the same Apple that's been quietly working on AI projects? Project Ajax, aka Apple GPT? Look it up. Or perhaps the same Apple that has its products made in China. Not that Apple, right? This whole situation sort of reeks of corporate influence stifling creative freedom. Stewart wanted to cover topics that are crucial for the upcoming 2024 presidential elections. But Apple was like, nope, you can't do that. It might tarnish our brand. Now let's remember that journalism serves as the fourth estate, acting as the watchdog on the other three branches of the government. For this system to work, journalists need to be free to explore, investigate, and discuss a wide range of topics, including those that may be uncomfortable or controversial. When this freedom is curtailed, the checks and balances that hold our democracy together start to crumble. Creative freedoms foster a marketplace of ideas where different perspectives can be presented and debated, which is crucial for the public to make informed decisions, be it in the voting booth or daily life. If journalists are restricted in the topics they can cover or the angle they can explore, this marketplace becomes more like a monopoly, controlled by a select few, which I'd argue is already the case. When journalists have that creative freedom to dig deep, they can hold powerful entities accountable, whether it's uncovering corruption, exposing human rights abuses, or scrutinizing corporate practices. The ripple effects of their work can lead to significant societal change. But this can only happen if they're free from external pressures that might censor or delete their message. Once you start putting restrictions on what journalists can and cannot say, it's a slippery slope to censorship and propaganda. This is particularly concerning when the restrictions come from corporate entities that have their own vested interests, as we see with the cancellation of Stewart's show. When the profit motives and brand image start dictating the news agenda, we're in pretty dangerous territory. So, in a nutshell, creative freedom in journalism isn't just about allowing journalists to express themselves. It's about perceiving the integrity of our democratic institutions and ensuring that the public has access to a diverse range of information and perspectives.
Our next story takes us to the world of education and social media. Brianna Coppage, a 28-year-old former English teacher at St. Clair High School, has made headlines for leaving her teaching job to focus on her OnlyFans account. She claims to have no regrets and has reportedly made nearly $1 million from her new venture.
Okay, so Brianna Coppage basically said peace out to grading papers and hello to OnlyFans. And guess what? She's raking in the dough. I mean, everyone's got that teacher fantasy, don't they? Let's talk numbers, shall we? Brianna was making a teacher salary about $42,000 a year. But on OnlyFans, she's been pulling in anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month. Now, Brianna knew she was walking on thin ice. She was aware that her side hustle could get her into some hot water. But she argues that teachers should be allowed to have personal lives outside their career. And you know what? She's got a point. Teachers are underpaid and overworked. If they can find a way to make ends meet, who are we to judge? Brianna mentioned she didn't guide her students based on her personal beliefs or thoughts. She was there to teach English, not life lessons on morality. But society has this weird exception that teachers should be paragons of virtue. I mean, why? They're humans just like the rest of us. So, does Brianna's success have you rethinking your career? Maybe it's time for you to find your OnlyFans. Obviously, I'm kidding. I mean, unless you're into that. Then you're probably making more money than my 40-hour-a-week self, so, you know, more power to you.
Our next story is a blast from the past, revolving around Alex Jones, the controversial host of InfoWars. A Texas judge has ruled that Jones cannot use bankruptcy protection to avoid paying the families affected by the Sandy Hook school shooting. This ruling is a significant setback for Jones, who had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection last year.
Alright, so Alex Jones, the man who never found a conspiracy theory he didn't like, just got a reality check from a Texas judge. No bankruptcy protection for you, sir. So, quick recap. Jones has been peddling that this idea that the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax. Families of the victims took him to court, and now he owes them over $1.1 billion. For context, his net worth is around $14 million. Jones thought he could dodge this bullet by filing for bankruptcy, but the judge said that he can't hide behind it for willful and malicious conduct. Jones claims he's over $1 million in debt and can't pay the families. But get this, his personal spending in July alone was $93,000. That includes on meals and entertainment. So it sounds like the debt's his own damn fault. Also, what the hell are you eating that cost $93,000? So this man is clearly ordering some prime rib while ordering the highest class of escort you can possibly order. Which, I mean, looking at the man, I bet they charge a lot to touch his ugly ass. Sorry, I'm not trying to look shame. He's an asshole, don't come at me. Jones is crying foul, saying this is an attack on his free speech, but free speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. You can't just go around making shit up and not expect to be held accountable. This isn't a case of somebody accidentally slipping up. It's a case of deliberate actions that have caused immense harm. In such instances, financial penalties serve as a form of justice for the aggravated parties and to deter against future misconduct. In summary, I fully support the court's decision to hold Alex financially accountable. It's not just about the money, it's about the principle of the matter. When you cause harm, especially at that scale, you should face the consequences, financially or otherwise.
Our final story for tonight takes us to California, where a federal judge has ruled for the second time that the state's ban on assault weapons is unconstitutional. U.S. District Judge Roger Benitez stated that although powerful weapons like the AR-15 rifle are commonly used by criminals, they are also owned by law-abiding citizens for self-defense.
Alright, so let's wrap up today's show with the story that's got more twists and turns than a Hollywood thriller. California's ban on assault weapons. Unconstitutional, says Judge Roger Benitez. So, here's the rundown. This isn't the first time Judge Benitez struck down California's assault weapon ban. He did the same thing last year, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sent back the case for reconsideration, and Judge Benitez has doubled down. Now, I'm all for the Second Amendment. My roommates are responsible gun owners. Personally, I don't own one, so I'm not too sure where the line should be drawn here. You know, that line between responsible gun ownership and, well, enabling mass shootings. I know. Quick escalations. Not cool. Judge Benitez argues that law-abiding citizens use these weapons for self-defense. But do you really need an AR-15 to fend off a burglar? This case isn't just about California. It's a microcosm of the national debate on gun control. Now, California Attorney General Robert Bonta has already filed a notice of appeal, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen next. I mean, it's not like this is a small thing or anything like that. It's going to be a big one. But, on that note, we're going to call it for now. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about today. And until next time, stay weird, stay safe, and I will see you on Monday.